Okay, whatever. What was Kamala Harris's actual contribution? Let's find out. A bail fund once backed by Vice President Kamala Harris during the 2020 presidential campaign that helped free violent criminals is back in the spotlight, so it appears to still be taking in donations. This is 2024. Okay, Kamala Harris, Minnesota Freedom Fund. Okay. Kamala Harris tweeted on June 1st to the Minnesota... Wait. Freedom Fund. Why? Please don't let me... I don't know how many of you guys have ever actually owned a home. Please don't get me sunlocked on this forever. Oh my God. Homeowners you are the worst people. You are the worst types of people. And you're the worst types of people because you don't even own homes. You don't even know what it's like to own a home, okay? Destiny's assuming that the landlord will actually show up or at least work on the issue within a week. I had flooding in my backyard. I had emailed him multiple times. He came over, looked at the problem, said he would come back to it. He never did. Super tedious. Yes, there are shitty landlords. It happens. You know what else there are shitty of? There are shitty people that do work on homes, okay? You ever call a company to come and fix your shit and they show up and they do a horrible fucking job and then it breaks down again in a month and you try to call them back and they're out of business? Yeah, there's shitty people everywhere. Welcome to home ownership or having a fucking landlord. Yes, that is true. The only difference is at least it's a single point of failure with the landlord, but for home ownership, it could be 50 million points of failure. Bro, there's a reason why every single fucking roofer, appliance restorer, everybody has like infinite lifetime fucking warranties. It's because these companies last for a lifetime of like 3 fucking years, okay? Yes, there can be shitty landlords. There can be shitty repair people. There can be shitty... There are tons of things that can be shitty, right? Jesus, yes. Most landlords don't do shit. I had a leak in my roof and my window because the drain above my apartment was clogged and it was shooting water directly into the top of my window/wall, and they sent 4 people to inspect it over the course of a month where they decided to dry it. And now the corner of my wall is just the wooden exterior, and it's been another month with no word on them on when they plan to fix it. Hopefully before it rains again. LeMayo. If your building is fucked, then your people can literally leave. And now you got a dude who's losing a ton of fucking money, okay? With homes, you have the agency to fix things. Renting, you don't have that option. You're at the behest of your landlord. There's a huge difference. You can file a complaint. Your landlord has an obligation under the lease in order to make sure that the area that you live in is inhabitable. Like, does anyone read VRAC's comment? What, this one? How do you figure people see buying a house a good investment strategy and it just isn't? It's fine at best. Not only will a regular S&P 500 ETF outperform it as far. This guy agrees with me. Why would I not read the comment if he agrees with me? Wouldn't I be more likely to read it because I agree with him? How did filing a complaint go with your ISP? It went horribly because there's only one ISP in my entire fucking city. There's a million different houses to live in. What do you mean? Ask me what it was like to get my stupid fucking heater fixed in the goddamn fucking winter. Bro, me and Rachel had to call this fucking dude out like 50 fucking times, okay? There was like a 2-month period, all right? There was a 2-month period where this shit would get fixed. It would break down a week later. And every time it would come back, there was something wrong with it. It was like, oh, actually, it was the pilot light that was out. We just had to fix the fucking circuit. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, $700. Cool. Oh, and I got to pay. Okay, cool. All right. And then the next time I was like, oh, well, actually, it's not that. It's this control panel is fucking old. Okay, yeah, I guess. So what, you're going to write me with the 6-inch dildo, or are we using the bad dragon this time? Oh, $500? Okay, just the 6-inch this time. Then next time, because actually, this whole system is really old, and, the whole system is actually out of warranty. It's actually over 700 years old, and you just didn't see that when you inspected the house. So this whole system is obsolete, and it's spraying asbestos into your lungs. So now it's a 72,000. Now fuck you and fuck contractors and fuck every piece of shit fucking job you got to get done on your goddamn fucking house. Fuck this shit. God, listen. There are pros to owning homes. There are pros to renting. But it is so obvious to me when you're talking to a rentoid that dreams of being a mortgageoid, okay? And they're like, God, owning a home is amazing. You call over the contractor and he fixes it immediately and he's so qualified and the work is guaranteed and insured and they'll come back for free if there are any problems. And it's so, fuck you, okay? Oh my God. Fuck all of that shit. I hated calling anybody else out ever to work on anything with your house. God forbid you have a fucking, man, you heard me complain about tires. You heard me complain about automotive shops. Bro, you bring a plumber or an electrician into an old fucking house, these motherfuckers turn into Richie Rich. You actually, if you look at them, if you spin them around and you look at them while they're inspecting, okay, they have the money signs in their eyes. I'm like, hey, yeah, so I don't know why, but this light's flickering. Can you tell me what's going on? Well, actually, the circuit breaker, it's not up to code. It's not up to code, you see. What the fuck is, what code? Whose code? The city's code, sir. And, I'm sorry, but for a qualified electrician to even touch this, I'm gonna have to rewire the entire fucking block. Okay, I'm gonna have to come in here, all right, with my guys. Okay, we're gonna have to do all the circuits over again. Also, none of your outlets are grounded. Also, by the way, okay. Really? But I thought it had the 3-prong. Yeah, there's no real wire back there. It's all fake, okay? And now it's going to cost $20,000. Now your shit is fucked, and I'm going to get to rewire all of it, okay? You bring in a plumber? This guy comes in, and he's like, sir, I know you said your toilet is clogged, but did you know that you have 3 1/4 inch fittings, and they're supposed to be 5 1/10 inch quarter fittings on all of your toilets, and your pipes are not angled at the right degree for elevation, so now we have to install a sump pump because it's going to cause your house to collapse into the fucking earth. Like, there are pros and cons to everything, okay? There are pros and cons to everything, but don't sit here and pretend and tell me that fixing your home is an easy fucking thing. It is not. Okay, the contractor rigmarole is just as bad, or can be just as bad, as the landlord rigmarole. All right, the only difference is at the end of the day, I can walk away from an apartment and a shitty landlord and say, fuck you. I can't walk away from my fucking house, okay? Because now the bank is going to come after me with another bad dragon dildo, and I'm going to get double ass fucked, okay? Fuck that shit. There's pros and cons to everything. That's all I'm saying. Pros and cons to everything, okay? The number one tip to home ownership, though, the most important thing is to go to your basement, make sure that you buy paint that matches the floor exactly. And if you ever see a crack down there, paint over it immediately and sell that house ASAP. As soon as I started getting quoted shit for foundation issues, I was like, oh, hell no, okay? We're about to do 9/11 2.0 in a video game before I'm, what am I even paying for? What is the, 20,000? This house is worth 5 times what you're asking me to fix this for. What am I doing? You have to go into the earth? They train monsters like in Dune or Tremors to, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. I will sink to the earth in my home and I will die happy. This is my coffin. You're watching me sink and I will continue to sink, okay? Listen, pros and cons to everything, okay? There's pros and cons to everything. But don't sit here and pretend that it's easy to be a homeowner. There's definitely issues that go in there as well. Okay? God damn it. The mental stuff comes back to having a sense of security, stability, identity, and freedom to personalize and modify your living space however you want. Owning your own home and land, oh, you're buying land now, is a massive mental buff in my experience. If a landlord wants to sell their property, you're forced to leave. And that could be at an inconvenient time. Moving is extremely stressful in itself. Okay. Yes, typically when you buy a house, you buy the land, you absolute tard. Oh, yeah? Really? You own that land? Oh, yeah? Can you grow any type of tree that you want on that land? Can you do whatever you want with your yard on that type of land? Do you have a public obligation to, like, say, make your sidewalks clear to a certain level? Otherwise, you could be held liable for injury if somebody's walking and happens to slip and trip on your land. What happens if some dipshit kid wanders into your land and gets killed on some dumb shit, like they fall into a fucking pool and drown? Yeah. How much ownership do you have when you've got 50 million different city regulations, okay, about how you're supposed to upkeep your land? Right? Get the fuck out of here, okay? My God, it's my own. I'm my own civil servant. Yes, I have my own. I owned this. This is my domain. Yes. Meanwhile, the branch on your tree extends over the fucking street too much, and the fucking National Guard shows up. Okay, you're getting swatted, and they're like, "Sir, you've had 7 days to trim this fucking tree. We're gonna take it out for you. So here's a $7,000 bill. The city's gonna handle this, and we're gonna use our guys, and it's gonna be really expensive, and we're gonna do a bad job." It's okay. Everything is the pros and cons to everything. That's it, okay? Pros and cons to everything. Destiny, again, the thing that covers you in all this is insurance, but you don't believe in insurance. Oh, insurance. You mean the thing that's really bad when we have one thing to politically argue against, like healthcare, but really good in every other circumstance when we want to argue the opposite way? Oh, yeah. How can I forget about insurance? Oh, the legendary insurance. Yeah, I didn't even imagine that. Yeah, insurance is going to pay the $600 bill to come out for the fucking AC repair dude. Insurance is going to buy me a new window because the dipshit kid across the street threw a football in and broke. Insurance is going to cover my $300 fix. Oh my God. Why didn't I just think about buying the zero deductible gold level insurance for my house? Because why wouldn't I want to pay an extra $10,000 a year to insure my fucking house? But wait a second, I thought that was setting money on fire. I don't have to pay. You know what I pay for my apartment? I pay for something called renter's insurance. You know what that costs? That costs a coffee a month, okay? It costs me like $42 a year. And sure, I thought we didn't like setting money on fire. Now we want homeowners insurance with zero deductible? Oh, wow, good job, dude. What's up, Lita? Hi, what do you want? Or yeah, talk to us. Sorry, forget everything I said.
Awfully mad there, buddy. Now it's time to take that energy and channel it into fucking politics, man. That's
I am so channeled. I'm always channeled.
Awesome. So I've got 2 people, Blair and Reese, who are in the stream disagreements. Pull them up, but I just wanted to let everyone know. Hi guys. I'm Matt or Letta or Latavian.
Gotcha.
Guy.
Yep. Wait. I'm gonna drag these people up. I'm sorry. This is the only time I'm going to interrupt you, then I'm done with this. Insurance is usually included in the mortgage payment. No, it's not. You just think that because you're a financially illiterate mortgageoid. And you think that when you make one payment to your bank, that's the mortgage payment, okay? What you're actually making, there are 2 different payments in there. You have your mortgage payment, okay, which on the beginning of your loan, by the way, is like 90% fucking interest and 10% principal, okay? So you've got your mortgage, that's where you're setting 90% of it on fire immediately. And then the other part of that payment is called escrow, okay? The escrow payment might be part of the payment you make to the bank, but it's not part of your mortgage payment. Escrow will rise or fall based on your insurance and your property taxes. And there might be other costs in there depending on your state, but escrow is what you're paying into when it comes to insurance and when it comes to taxes. It's not just included in your fucking mortgage payment, okay? Sorry. Okay. Blair and Harusifer, who am I bringing up?
Reese and Blair. So
Reese and Blair.
Yeah. Reese and Blair. Yeah.
Got them. They're coming up.
Awesome. So they're going to go on video here in a second if you can pull that up. But just wanted to remind everyone, so I'm Matt. We do a lot of the DGG canvassing stuff and work with PV. And so we're doing a lot of different events. And we have a really cool program, the House Canvassing Program, which our state directors, 2 of them here, are going to talk to you about and share what we've been up to. But quickly, I will also be posting a couple of links to some sign-up forms and our Wisconsin event that's coming up October 5th and 6th for people to be aware of. We also have that Reddit post that is linked at the top and pinned for everyone to go check out. Going to have a awesome time in Wisconsin. So please get out there if you've been wanting to do any sort of political action work.
Cool.
Yeah, and so House Canvas program, a little bit about it. We're doing 6 states. We have people running full-time canvassing houses, and we're looking for more volunteers to join in and do meaningful political work. And we also have mobilize events for local days of action. We're doing like DNC watch parties coming up here on Thursday. So if you're looking to get involved, this is going to be the best pipeline to actually get involved with politics and make a meaningful change. But yeah, I'm going to let Reese and Blair take over here and introduce themselves, and then well, we'll go from there.
Cool.
My name is Reese. I am running stuff in Ohio, and with me I have Blair.
Wait, real quick. When you guys are calling out
Yeah.
these the canvassing houses that you guys are in, can you say the city too, in case so people have to know? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Also, wait.
I'm
When you do
running-
this, I'm adjusting my mic settings real quick. Hold on one sec, so they can hear you. Hold on.
Cool. Do you want us to do like a test 1, 2, 3?
No, you're good. It's a quick adjustment for Mega Man. Hold on one sec. Desi, you have no answer to this. If property is such a bad investment, why are the largest asset manager companies buying up single-family homes at record rates? Are you not interested in making a profit? Hey, when those people are buying the homes, they're not just looking for the appreciation of the asset value, they're also having cash flow because they don't live in those homes. Other people live in those homes, you fucking retard. They're not just buying homes and moving in. You think that BlackRock buys homes for the fucking CEO and the employees go and move into the fucking houses? They're renting them to other people, you dipshit. If you're not renting your house out, you're not buying a house like BlackRock. You're buying a house like Broke Rock. Rope. What are ways that Trump is anti-democratic? For the January 6th stuff, he tried to circumvent his advisors. I think that's kind of anti-democratic. He tried to circumvent the right of states to run their elections. He circumvented criminal responsibility via the Supreme Court. He wants to power grab more and more executive power for himself by asking for sycophants in government, inability to pass legislation, so uses EO and military to do immigration policy, control Federal Reserve. That's wacky as fuck. He assumes zero responsibility as a leader. Everything is well to the deep state. Nothing is his fault. Has attacked the Constitution multiple times. Is the debate going to be on stream tonight? Yeah, I think in like 2 hours. Won't they point out all the executive orders Obama did? Obama's not running for president. Oh, true. Hold on. Opposed the border bill that had popular support just because wants to win re-election. Yeah, true. Pardoned all of his cronies. So this seems like it's gonna be a really easy / dumb debate. What is this?
Radical, liberal, Kamala Harris gets in, and by the way, there are numerous ways of saying her name. They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it, doesn't matter what I say, I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not, I couldn't care less. Some people think I mispronounce it on purpose, but actually I've heard it said about 7 different ways. There are a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways.
Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and yes, I am officially back from my honeymoon. Now, I want to first start off by saying to everyone out there in the audience, I have to apologize, because every time I'm away from keyboard, some major news happens, it breaks, it changes the face of this country, and this was very notably the case when I was at a car dealership trying to buy a car during January 6th, but this time, the news media, the world, the interwebs, everybody decided to step it up a notch by having the evil orange man nearly assassinated the day that I said my wedding vows, and during the course of my honeymoon, that bullet strayed away from the evil orange man, and somehow was a direct kill shot to the presidential campaign of Joseph R. Biden. Now, we're going to talk about this specifically today. There is so much news that I have to catch up on. I also want to give you a breakdown of me doing the whole wedding thing and whatnot. I also got to talk about the fact that I broke my glasses while I was on my honeymoon, and I have a backup pair of glasses, but I can't find it because I don't have my glasses, therefore I can't see anything. So in case this video is completely out of focus, just think it's an artistic choice that I decided to put together so you can see the world how I see it without my glasses. But that being said, Kamala Harris's coup is the topic of today's video. She has been forced upon the American people, and everyone and anyone in left-wing media is pretending like she's a thing. And today I'm going to explain not only how this is absolutely horrible for our country, how Kamala is going to be horrible for our country, but of course it flies into the face of the narrative that the Democratic Party is the party of democracy. Now, thank you to everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticeword.com/join.
Oh, give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
So let's be clear right off the top about what happened to President Joe Biden in this presidential campaign. As you guys very well know, he got absolutely demolished in the debate. Now, it wasn't about the substance of the conversation, because debates rarely are about that. It was about presentation. But in terms of presentation, Joe Biden looked old. He looked like he was on the cusp of dying. He could not figure out where he was. And it was absolutely a disaster, and more disastrous than anybody could have possibly imagined, especially in left-wing media, because they've been telling you about how Joe Biden is actually a dynamo behind the scenes, how he's actually great. He's so quick-witted. He's cognitively sound, even though we saw through all these different various clips that that was not the case.
We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Who is right? He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
However, when we last left off the story, before I said my nuptials, Joe Biden was committed to staying in the race.
Let me close with this. I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. Well, I know. Well, I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
And I had told you, and unfortunately I am wrong about this, that Joe Biden would not leave. But what ended up happening was something that was even beyond what I could imagine. Essentially, the Democratic Party elites, including representatives from the Clinton campaign, the Obama team, major donors, Hollywood, and of course, top leadership in both the House and the Senate, according to journalist Seymour Hersh, essentially threatened to 25th Amendment Joe Biden out of office to force him to step down if he didn't hand over the ticket to Kamala Harris. Now, we all know, because we actually paid attention, and I've talked about this on this channel in the past before, that Joe Biden never wanted Kamala as his VP. In fact, he promised that he would pick a woman. He had eyes, according to the book Lucky, how Joe Biden barely won the presidency, on Elizabeth Warren as his VP. That's why he specifically promised a black woman on the Supreme Court and just a woman on the VP ticket. However, after the Black Lives Matter riots, Kamala Harris was the most highest ranking black female Democrat in the party, so he was essentially forced to pick her. And again, I will recommend you read that campaign book so you can go over with the voices from the insiders themselves how much they absolutely did not want Kamala, because Kamala is a nasty person who decided to go out of her way to call Joe Biden a racist during the campaign, and then of course do a 180 because she's a complete fraud and jump on board and say that she was Team Biden all the way. All of that happened. It is all on the record. Kamala Harris was picked not even because she was liked, not because she was to be disqualified or anything like that, but just because she was the highest ranking black female politician at the time. And of course, people are going to say she
Not because she was liked, but because she was the highest ranked female, but
not because she was to be disqualified or anything like that, but just because she was the highest ranking black female politician at the time. And of course, people are going to say
that's not a qualification. Oh, he's going to say, people are going to say that's okay, never mind. He's going to say that, sorry.
she's only half black. In fact, when she won her
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Senate race, she was pitched as the first Indian American Senate. All of that happens to be true, but this is the candidate that we have. And a lot of Democrats are pretending to be very excited about this. There is an astroturfing campaign behind Kamala Harris, and I think, and I truly believe, that the chances of the Democrats winning the presidential election in 2024 just went down dramatically, not up, because Joe Biden had the incumbent advantage. Joe Biden is a recognizable figure, and for whatever you want to say about Joe Biden not being able to remember, not being qualified for the office, having dementia, and all that, the fact of the matter is the reason Joe Biden was a better candidate than Hillary Clinton and is a better candidate than Kamala Harris is due to the fact that Joe Biden has more appeal to white working class voters that are the key voting bloc that Hillary lost in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and in Michigan. And guess what? Kamala, the California senator, does not have that appeal. She talked about banning fracking. She's talked about switching to electric cars. All these different various positions that she's held in order to appeal to the woke California elite will come back to bite her, not to mention she is one of the most uncharismatic and unlikable people in the history of American politics.
The environment is vital. Killmonger may have ruined and burned your field of heart-shaped herbs, but don't worry. I'm from California. I can repopulate that field with a bunch of different herbs. To the lovely people of Wakanda.
What the fuck?
I know you will make the right choice. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Now, there are so many clips
I want Wakanda we in my state.
like that.
I vote for it.
That are absolutely amazing in every possible way.
And then on the other end, you've got Ron DeSantis, who wants to kill Mickey Mouse, okay? Though I know they're not running for the same position.
Show you that this woman is a charisma vacuum, but my favorite ones are the ones that we discussed actually recently, which is Kamala Harris talking about how much she loves collard greens because blacks love collard greens, and that's her absolutely favorite thing to cook.
That was me, in my suit and heels, walking through Charleston International Airport, carrying 2 big plastic bags full of fresh South Carolina collard greens. The true story. And yes, as I walked on the plane, there were a few people who gave me the look and the nod.
Even though Kamala Harris is of Jamaican descent, that's her black side of the family, and of course of Indian descent, and did not grow up eating Southern black food. And you could tell this by the way that she talks about collard greens and how she cooks so many collard greens that everybody comes over to Kamala's house for her collard green.
Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So what you got?
This is pandering on a whole other level, and this is the go-to move for the Kamala Harris campaign. Pander to blacks, pretend to be the most ultra-black person humanly possible, and it's kind of funny that Barack Obama, whose father was of African descent, actually did not do this while he was running for office, and nobody questioned the authenticity of Barack Obama's blackness. I mean, some people did. They said he was not a foundational black American. There's always people in that Tariq Nasheed category that are going to do that, but for the most part, because Obama had charisma, because he had some appeal,
Okay.
because he was a great speaker. Again, give credit where credit is due. This was not a thing that he needed to do. He didn't need to talk about collard greens and being authentically black all the time in order to appeal to the masses. Now, of course, we also have Kamala's embarrassing performance at the BET Awards, where she was talking to some woke activist who complains all the time about how she doesn't get paid enough as an actor, and we ended up seeing this horrific clip like this.
No, Taraji, now you know I wouldn't do that, especially not to a fellow bison. The real, ain't you? You know. So what's on your mind?
Now look, I harped a lot on the fact that Kamala Harris, who's
Especially not to a fellow bison. The real, ain't you? You know. So what's on your mind?
like this.
No.
Wait, what is she saying? The real bison? Are they talking about Street Fighter?
Oh, Taraji, now you know I wouldn't do that, especially not to a fellow bison. The real, ain't you? You know. So what's on your mind?
Are they talking about Native American tribes? I have no fucking idea what the fuck we're talking about. Howard University? Colleges for losers. Who cares?
Now look, I harped a lot on the fact that Kamala Harris, who's trying to be the blackest black person in the history of Blackenstein, wasn't able to even deliver an appropriate you know, which is what is supposed to be delivered right there. But the fact of the matter is, this entire clip is incredibly cringe, incredibly embarrassing, and should be shocking to the conscience of the American people if we're being perfectly honest. This woman right here, who can't even admit that she is of Jamaican and Indian heritage, she can't even play up to the culture that she actually grew up in, is trying to be ultra black, doing this you know nonsense right here, and pretending to fool black Americans.
What? Do we have video proof? Or what is, when we say the culture that she grew up in, was she like in Indian, Jamaican dances, or like what are we talking about? I'm just curious. I'm not sure. Maybe she did. I don't know what the reference is here.
Because she believes that these people are that dumb that they're willing to follow this. On top of that, you also have her, no joke, talking about how she's out here in these streets.
Women's reproductive rights are on the line. Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP. I know you've been traveling cross country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji.
I mean, seriously, people, come on. What the hell are we even talking about? We have a woman right here, again, Indian and Jamaican descent, grew up in Canada, the child of professors. I believe her mother was like a...
What do we even... I don't even know what we're like complaining about right now. What
are we even talking about? We have a...
I don't think anybody heard that and thinks, man, Kamala's out here slinging dope. Man, she's like running these corners like crazy. She knows what we're like.
Woman right here, again, okay. Indian and Jamaican descent, grew up in Canada, the child of professors. I believe her mother was like a biologist or something like that, very into the STEM fields, talking about how she likes collard greens and she washes them in the bathtub with the fellow blacks because she's out here in these streets because you know she's the real deal. This is what our presidential politics are. But again, as I said, it's absolutely embarrassing that this woman who could not win the presidency outright, who could not win a primary, who had to drop out a month before the Iowa caucus back in 2020, absolutely destroyed herself in every possible way, is somehow the nominee for the Democrats in a race where they're talking about saving democracy. She essentially stole this VP seat by the violence of the Black Lives Matter riots, which, by the way, was the reason, again, multiple reports confirm this, that she was picked rather than Elizabeth Warren or somebody that Joe Biden actually wanted on his VP ticket. And now she essentially did a coup against Joe Biden, teamed up with Obama under the threat of the 25th Amendment, according to the reporting by Hirsch. And we're supposed to believe that this is democracy. Remember, Joe Biden got more votes for president than anyone in the history of the country ever. That is the line that we were fed constantly for years. Anytime anybody questioned the fact that election law significantly changed for the 2020 election and COVID was used as the excuse, but people voted in a very different way than they ever did in the history of the country based on these laws that, by the way, in many of the key states weren't even legal able to have that kind of voting, a la Pennsylvania, which did not have constitutional support for broad-based mail-in ballots. So all of that was told to us for years about how it's the most democratically elected president ever. Joseph R. Biden is the champion of democracy. He saved us from the evil orange man, and that goes away overnight, snap of the finger, and Kamala Harris is presented to us. And by the way, right now in this moment, she is getting a bump in the polls, although the polls look absolutely crazy. There's a Morning Consult poll that says she's somehow up 11 in Michigan, but down 4 in Pennsylvania. That's absolutely asinine. But when you look at the RCP average, which again is national polling, but Republicans don't even have to be in the lead nationally in order to win the presidency because of the Electoral College, Trump has actually hit his all-time RCP polling average. So when you look at the aggregate of the polls, Trump is doing better now than he ever did before, which makes sense. It's something that I told you throughout this whole process, because replacing Joe Biden in the 11th hour is an absolute disaster. And again, there's a reason why everyone overlooked Kamala Harris, because she's a horrible candidate in every possible way. And I told you one of the major problems with replacing Joe Biden with any candidate is that any legitimate candidate, a la a Gavin Newsom, a Gretchen Whitmer, somebody who actually thinks that they have the ability to win the presidency outright in 2024, was not going to sign up for this. So you always had to put up an inferior candidate. And what we're seeing right now is the astroturfing, and by the way, the gaslighting of the American people related to Kamala Harris, because they're now trying to erase the fact that Kamala Harris herself was put in charge very early on of the border, named the border czar, and they're trying to pretend that that didn't happen. But the fact—
Why do they care what Democrats pick if she's so feeble and illegitimate? Shouldn't they be happy? It's just trying to demotivate voters on the Democratic side. That's it. Like, the idea that they would care about any of this is like obviously not true, right?
The matter is, it did. Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border. She's advocating for amnesty. She never bothered to even visit the border for the longest time because she thought it was a non-problem, and that was the line of the administration. And everything this woman touches dies because she's an absolutely horrible politician.
My friends in the media and my friends who are in the Democratic Party need to grapple with this point, and I know that they won't, right? I fear that they won't, which is that there's a whole swath of America out there who feels like they have been systematically gaslit about Joe Biden and his age. There have been segments, there have been people who work in this building who have written browbeating things about the New York Times, even polling on the issue of whether Biden is too old. Like, that's pretty controversial, New York Times. I'm not sure you should do that. It's in March of this year that between Robert Hur coming out and people such as Kamala Harris saying that Robert Hur's thing was clearly politically motivated, she said, and obviously inaccurate. She said that in February. So to come off after all of this, and then suddenly a bad debate, everything gets scrambled up, and then Kamala comes, and we see 1 week of flowing and gushing, yes, reflection of the euphoria that is real that people are experiencing. And I actually am happy that people are experiencing euphoria. However, that feeling that the other people are experiencing is also real, which is that stop gaslighting us right now. And if you keep doing it, I've gotten emails from, and I'm not a pro-Trump person at all, from people who are saying, if people keep doing this, I'm thinking about rage voting for Trump. That's a terrible outcome.
Not to mention the fact that Kamala Harris was out there front and center, as pointed out by Matt Welch of Reason TV on CNN, saying that Joe Biden was perfectly fine. She participated in the lying, the cover-up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline, so they wouldn't have a Democratic primary, because she knew when push came to shove, she wouldn't actually be able to win in the Democratic primary. She didn't want the voters to actually have a weigh-in on her candidacy, so she helped engage into the cover-up until the very last minute, where supposedly, according to this reporting from this very trusted journalist who exposed a scandal in Vietnam, again, look at his record, look at his history, they decided to threaten Joe Biden with the 25th Amendment, and of course, they ended up holding him hostage financially, which people are trying to give Kamala Harris credit for as if she raised $81 million on her own, even though this was clearly and obviously the well-reported threat from the donors that they were going to withhold until they had another candidate. Now look, a lot of you guys out there in my audience know where I am on the political spectrum. You know I'm more on the right than I am on the left, but typically when it comes to presidential elections, because I live in New York State, which is a solid blue state, and my vote doesn't really matter, I don't really talk about voting or the importance of elections or anything like that all that much. I'm not a big fan of the day-to-day presidential politics. I do enjoy the horse race aspect of it, and that is because, again, I don't want people to hyper-focus on the president because he shouldn't have an impact on your day-to-day life, but B, it's because I have basically no impact. But this cannot stand. You cannot have these people run on, oh, we gotta stop the threats to democracy, the evil orange man is coming for a democratic process, and then subvert democracy in such an obvious way in order to install a fraudulent candidate, and then try to rewrite history, rewrite all the Google search terms, rewrite all the Facebook search terms in order to make it seem like her record isn't what it is. Kamala Harris, despite what the left-wing media says, did support the Minnesota bail fund. She did support the bailing out of Black Lives Matter rioters. A bunch of those people came out and they committed crimes. Kamala Harris is in fact somebody who said she would get rid of private insurance. She is in fact somebody who constantly is on the wrong side of different issues. And yes, she was the border czar. So they could try to lie, they could try to pretend, they could try to do a backdoor Obama campaign to pretend that she's the celebrity candidate. But the fact of the matter is, nobody likes this woman. Everybody understands that she's absolutely terrible, and she needs to be stopped. This kind of 11th hour swap out needs to be undone. It needs to be punished by the voters. So not only does Kamala Harris need to lose, but she needs to lose in a commanding way. So yes, I am fully behind the defeat of Kamala Harris, whatever form that takes electorally, whether that be a popular vote, absolute obliteration with an electoral college win, or just an electoral college win, whatever it is, whatever it needs to be, she needs to lose, and she needs to lose in a devastating fashion so that the Democratic Party learns their lesson. Because if this is proven to be a legitimate strategy, that the party elites can just toss a candidate 100 days away from the election, then that is going to spell the death nail for the primary process, which again, if they wanted to get rid of it, they should have just done it in a genuine way. Now, of course, all these different people are going to say, Cope, you're just scared of Kamala, you're just scared of Kamala. Listen, let me be clear about this. Obviously, this needs to be said. I don't want Kamala to be president because she'll be absolutely horrible and she'll do the things that she has promised to do. She will expose her authoritarian tendencies that she always had, and that will be bad for the country. But I'm in no way, shape, or form afraid of Kamala Harris or think that she is more risky to win than Joe Biden. The only reason I'm upset is because I predicted Joe Biden would hang on, so he, in his weakness, actually disappointed me. But the fact of the matter is that the Democrats are the ones that are afraid. This is why they did something that is nearly unprecedented in American politics, which is throw out their candidate 100 days before the election, try to swap and do an emergency substitute because they were so scared about Biden and they deserve to be punished for it. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts on this whole situation. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like.
Wow. Okay. Fuck. 2 hours for this debate. Wait, there was an Asmongold thing people wanted me to watch. Was it this?
As a Brit, As a Brit watching Asman and chat talk about the UK protests, it's so infuriating. Oh boy, somebody's unhappy about what I said. The lack of knowledge about the social situation, will not surprising, make it hard to watch. Oh wow, okay, so this is the this is very usual thing. So you have Asman doesn't know what he's talking about, with no example of what I don't know. Wow, what a surprise! This has never happened before. I think social media makes its countries guilty of this. Asman came across as another clueless yank, doesn't know anything. To even imply that the majority would vote for the next Hitler is insulting, suggesting that the reasonable concerns held by the silent majority will lead all people to abandon all morals and
The silent majority.
fascism, the antithesis of traditional British values, piss off. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I think that this person is delusional by thinking that it's not possible. And also, when Hitler got people didn't vote for
the Seymour Hersh thing? Oh, I guess I could look into that. Fuck, I'm bored now. What is his sourcing for this? What was the what was the article? Like, what website was it on? Or maybe this. Hopefully they link it here, I guess. Hold on.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Oh, wow. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Where is this 25th Amendment claim? The article is locked. I think it's made up. I haven't found anything about it. What do you mean? People just made this up?
He is reporting that, and he discloses the, with respect, thinness of this. He says he has gone over reports of Biden's tumultuous trip to Las Vegas last week. This actually appeared in the Daily Mail. One of the reporters who was on board Air Force One, Emily Goodwin of the Daily Mail, reported, and it's in the Daily Mail right now, she was part of the press pool, that the president was deathly pale, that Air Force One flew at maximum speed to Delaware, that people, their plates were shaking. It was scary for those on board. It was very clear to them they were going unusually fast in the air, and that they believed the president was having a medical emergency. And he says that he has been in touch in the wake of this report and others that with a senior official in Washington who helped Seymour Hersh fashion an account of a White House in complete disarray, culminating in the president's withdrawal from the race. And he says that last Saturday, July 20th, Mr. Obama was deeply involved in trying to get trying to get Biden out of this race, and that there was talk that he would place a call to Biden, quote, on Sunday morning, the official told me, with the approval of Pelosi and Schumer, resuming quotes, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. But Obama made it clear, he goes on, that he was not going.
Wait, hold on.
And Schumer, resuming quotes, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. But Obama made it clear, he goes on, that he was not going to immediately endorse Kamala Harris. Again, this reporting not being repeated elsewhere.
Hold on.
Mr. Obama,
what is
Seymour
this?
Hersh, he says that he has been in touch in the wake of this report and others with a senior official in Washington who helped Seymour Hersh fashion an account of a White House in complete disarray, culminating in the president's withdrawal from the race. And he says that last Saturday, July 20th, Mr. Obama was deeply involved in trying to get Biden out of this race.
Okay, so a senior White House official told Seymour Hersh that Obama was threatening to use the 25th Amendment in a call to Kamala Harris to get, is that what the...
And that there was talk that he would place a call to Biden, quote, on Sunday morning, the official told me, with the approval of Pelosi and Schumer, resuming quotes, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. But Obama made it clear, he goes on, that he was not going to immediately endorse Kamala Harris. Again, this reporting not being repeated elsewhere. Don't know whether there's truth to this, but if so, that would be a massive piece of reporting. So what do you make of it, Tara?
Yeah. It is one source, unnamed source on background, so I am a little dubious. But, Obama made a point of not requesting to speak with Joe Biden. He did not want to contact him because he believed that, according to my reporting as well, and I've been pretty ahead of this, in terms of knowing that, Nancy Pelosi was deeply behind this, orchestrating it. She was in contact with Obama, but they knew that Obama was not going to have influence on him because of the last time that they talked back in 2019, and he had convinced, back in 2015 when he had convinced him not to run for office. So it was seen that any sort of influence from Obama was not going to work. And truly, Joe Biden was very dug in. He was very, very dug in at that time. I was told, though, that if he did not drop out by Sunday, that following week was going to get increasingly nastier, especially from Hill leaders. There would just be, an onslaught of lawmakers calling for him to step down. It would become aggressive. It was just...
Okay. All right, what are we watching while I eat? Turkish Tom's secret alt YouTube account.
Tomahawk steak for each redemption. With a not broken aioli. Tomahawk ribeye. Simple, olive oil is the blinder. Cuso's maple bourbon. Onto the smoker at 225 till we hit 120 internal. Now we sear it over charcoal. Nice fire going. Sear off our tomahawk. Oh yeah. Rusted potato, nice and thin fried. Ice bath. Frying in beef tallow. Fry number one. Drop those fries in the tallow. Now we pull them out, toss them in the freezer for a little bit. Second fry is when we're going for crispy golden brown. Salt them while they're still hot. Apparently I can't make an aioli to save my life. Let's try again. Garlic, lemon zest.
Oh, thank God. Another scam.
Today we're taking a deep dive into Steve Will Do It. We previously exposed him in a 6-part series with Mudahar. Now we're going to do a little check-in. Because since we last talked about him, he's back to gambling. He's threatening to sue me.
Oh, no.
And he's created a crypto coin, which he swears he didn't rug. He swears it was some of his friends, the nerds, he calls them. So we're going to jump into this. We're going to take our time with this one, though, because I really got to build my case here. If you don't remember Steve Will Do It, we did a big series about Rubet's House of Cards. That's a crypto casino. Basically, this guy got on the phone with me after we exposed the fact that he was using fake money to gamble with. He got on the phone and said, hey, look, is there any way we can make this right? I'm not saying this isn't bad, but, man, he's just kind of backed into a corner, and he starts telling me how bad he feels. And eventually he tells me he's going to quit.
A way where it's like, you just make this, right? Because I'm not here saying, oh, no, nothing's wrong with gambling.
How do they get the footage of him in his house? My God.
And shit, is there a way to make this right with you?
So that's the first clip. Is there any way to make this right with you? Then now, this is all preamble. This is the warm-up, guys. Don't worry, we'll get to the lawsuit threats. We'll get to the crypto coin in a bit.
Well, no, I've already made that decision. Before saying that it is right, if I saw that's already decided.
You're done with Rubet.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's a way to do it right. But yeah, as of right now, I'm done. I mean, unless you get on the phone and be like, hey, Steve, this is how you do it right.
So he says, hey, if you don't get on the phone with me and tell me how to do this right, this crypto gambling, I'm gonna walk. because I realized the error of my ways. And this was a deal where he was making millions of dollars, multiple millions of dollars. That shows you how bad he felt. He felt so bad, you know, getting in all this hot water. He truly, in his heart, knew that something was wrong. That's where he wanted to take accountability. This wasn't an opportunistic leaving of Rubet to avoid heat. This is because he really felt bad. So imagine my surprise when in April, Steve responds to me. Steve messages me, and he says that he wants to sue me. Actually, he starts with the delete the Rubet videos. He said, and then he says, I signed to Rubet again. So he says, delete the video, and also I signed to Rubet again. He says, I made wrong accusations. He says, you think you can delete the Rubet video because you were wrong? I don't own Rubet specifically. He thinks that I accused him in a video of owning Rubet. I then naturally ask, well, where did I accuse you? I need a timestamp. And he says, maybe you didn't, which that's already hilarious. He's like, you can't accuse me. Where did I accuse you? Well, maybe you didn't. But your entire 2 videos are misleading. I'm not mad at you, bro. I actually really enjoy you.
Aww.
Now, we've got the classic, I like you, CoffeeZilla. But he takes that, and then he goes and tells me this. He says, if I don't take down those videos, he says he's not threatening me, but he is going to send me a conversation he had with his mom where he said he wants to sue me. I want to file a lawsuit against CoffeeZilla. He
The best lawyers in the world. Oh, no.
What he stated was inaccurate. From way back? Yes, because it was all lies. He used my name and said I owned Rubet. No, I didn't. I just said it's bad to gamble with money that you don't own. We can send a letter to have him retract that statement. He hurt me big time. Is it possible to file a lawsuit and hire the best lawyers in the world? Okay, thanks. Now, bear in mind, why is he doing this now?
With his mom. Wait, is his mom like a lawyer, or what is it?
Well, it's kind of what he said earlier. He said he's back on Rubet. Ultimately, why is he doing it? Well, check it out. I signed to Rubet again. He's back on the sauce, right? The money's too good. The conscience, it felt good for a bit to stop gambling like that, but hey, stop selling gambling to people, but now you gotta make that check, right? So that's the start of it. Now, in the past, just in the interest of keeping the peace, I usually, when people threaten to sue me, I won't make a big deal out of it. Because it's kind of, you know, it's like a Wednesday, you know? It's just like kind of that happens. That happens in my line of work. However, with the recent Logan Paul stuff, we're not letting any of these goobers threaten us without publicizing it anymore. Hey, if you're going to threaten us, we're going to make content out of you, okay? So that all happened, though. Even so, though, I probably wouldn't be talking about this if that's all it was. After that, I see a video go live where Steve Will Do It is talking about a Rumble deal, okay?
Uh-oh.
This is a guy, by the way, who needs money so much he's got to sign to Rubet, right? He's got to make those millions of dollars, you know, selling gambling to his fans, right? That's the whole point. That's why they get you in. We talked about it in our first series. The way you make money is if you get a bunch of signups. They need you to hook a bunch of your fans on gambling. So Steve Will Do It talks about having a crippling gambling addiction. His job is to sell you a gambling addiction. So I was wondering, I was like, he must be broke. Life for Steve Will Do It must have gotten really hard after he got kicked off YouTube.
Based. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and stuff right back.
Something, by the way, at the time, I defended him for because I thought the way he got kicked off was a little stupid, whatever. And I said that very publicly. But I wondered, maybe life is tough. Maybe times are hard, okay? I want to give you this as context for what we're going to see with the crypto coin because this is so unbelievable. Imagine you're this guy and you still need more money. So how this all came about, how we found out the details of this Rumble deal. Turns out he got this Rumble deal where I figured these Rumble guys were making like a decent living, a very decent living, but you're not going to live that influencer lifestyle anymore, right? If you're on Rumble. Little did I know, they got that venture capital funding. They IPO'd. They've got apparently crazy money. And the details of this leaked because Steve Will Do It decided to start complaining about the details of his deal. where basically he was insulting the owner of Rumble because the owner of Rumble didn't want to like pay him fully because he didn't fully do the work in his contract. Steve will do it is going to complain about this and say this guy's not a man of his word, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the details of his contract come out, and it is insane how much money this guy is making already without anything else.
You know what I'm saying?
Thought he was a bad guy.
It's all about communication. Because for me, if I knew he was like that, I would have just uploaded a 20-minute video every single week, sucked up the Liverpools, and got paid $400,000 a month.
$400K a month. Okay? Did you guys hear that? I know there's a lot to this stream. I don't want to go through all of it. Just a lot of people talking drunk in a casino. But basically, Steve Will Do It was going to get paid $400,000 a month. That's nearly $5 million in a year to upload 20-minute videos once a week. And I don't know his other deliverables, but I think that was the one he wasn't able to meet. 20-minute videos. Now, maybe there's more to that story. Maybe he had to do some live streams too. I don't know. I think either way, it's insane to complain about that publicly. You're making $5 million. You still got to sign on to Roobet again. You got to go back to Roobet. But what I find even more insane is he then confronts the owner of Roobet, or the owner of Rumble, and he says how unfair it is. And this is all because he had to spend money on his content. He says how unfair it is. This is the CEO of Rumble.
I don't know. What, you pay me $5 million? I spent $2 million on videos. What, I made $3 million for fucking putting Rumble on the map.
Imagine going, oh, you paid me $3 million. Like sarcastically clapping at somebody. Like, oh, big whoop, you paid me $3 million.
I made $3 million for fucking putting Rumble on the map.
Wow. The level of entitlement is unbelievable. I don't know how anyone watches this and goes, I relate. Like, isn't that why people like influencers? Because they relate to them? Who's relating to that? Oh, $3 million, big whoop. So that's all preamble. He's back on Roobet. He's at Rumble making millions, but that's not enough. He's got to run a new project. He wants to start his own crypto coin. He calls it Hero, and I'm just going to let him kind of do the talking here.
All right, boys, I am on X, and right now what I realize is that the crypto community and the entire Twitter needs a hero because I am sick of all these motherfuckers, these rappers, these people that just rug. And I just texted some...
I'm sick of it, dude. Me too, Steve. Actually, that we have that in common. I'm sick of these celebrities. Quick cash grab. They lead their followers to the slaughter. Let's see what happens.
Nerds, this guy. I said, hey, yo, nerd. What people have rugged? And he said, Martin Shrell, Soulja Boy, Lil Pump, Floyd Mayweather, Trippie Redd, Bryce Hall, Logan Paul, KSI, Dwight Howard, 50 Cent, David O, 6ix9ine, Jesus Christ, Rich the Kid. I was never guessed that one. Dylan Danis, Waka Flocka. Guys, I am going to be the hero. I do not need fucking money, dude. I just bought a fucking jet last week. I swear.
Wait. So you bought a jet last week and you don't need money? I think that means you do need money, though. Actually, I think that means you do need money. And actually, I have proof of that. In Telegram, he would later say he's paying off his house and renovating his house. And for the next 5 months, he has to pay $100,000 a month for the jet. So it's a bit dishonest to say you don't need money, right? Like, that's not quite true. You literally need money for the jet you just bought. But okay, let's hear him out.
I do not need money. I'm going to be... You see these hands? You see these hands? These are what you call diamond hands. I don't give a fuck. I give zero fucks about money. Hands for real. Show them. No, I do not.
By the way, these guys in the background are important. They will later be, or some of these guys, will be the fall guys for this whole scheme.
I care. I am going to be the hero. I'm going to be the hero for X, for the crypto community. I swear to God. Money over legacy, or Jesus Christ.
Oh, oops. He goes, money over legacy, catches himself.
Money over legacy, or Jesus Christ. Legacy over money. No, we got to keep it raw. Legacy over money. Being legendary over money. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm going to be a hero. You see all these guys? I said, hey, nerd, what people are fucking rug and scam on crypto to make a few $1 million? Bro, I don't need money, dude.
All right, so that's the setup. He launches the coin. He doesn't need money, right? And bear in mind, okay, there's a lot of names, a lot of a blame game that's going to be played in a second here. Because he says he doesn't need money. But if you'll notice, there are people in the background throughout this, these people that Steve is calling, just like he said, he refers to them as nerd. Hey, nerd, come here. Well, those guys, like people like, he calls this guy the nerd. These people, Steve is later going to scapegoat and say they're the reason that this coin has now crashed. Because if you actually look at the chart now, because I did, it looks like this. Coin is way down. And I said, who dumped? Steve replies, I think the people behind the coin in beginning. They deny everything and keep using the word snipers. That's the oldest trick in the book, dude. And if you see, that guy's face looks a lot like this guy, the guy he condescendingly called nerd. I don't know if this guy was just pissed off and was like, you think I'm the nerd? Okay, great. I'm going to screw you over. I also don't know if this is a big front. I thought about doing a big deep dive investigation into Steve again, but I ultimately realized it doesn't matter. I mean, what honestly is the point? He's going to apologize and go, I'll never do that again, and then go do it. He's going to go do it again. Like, this is the same thing with Ruben. We did a big investigation. We got him. And then he's like, oh, dude, I swear, dude. Hey, unless you call me, I will never do Ruben again. And then, like, he tells me I'm going to sue you, and also I'm doing Ruben again. So I don't really see the point in doing this big deep dive investigation again. I think the chart speaks for itself. Ultimately, if you're an influencer and you have a coin like this that looks anything like this right here, that's on you at the end of the day. He insists that he's lost money. He also showed me some other people. He just kept sending me passports of people who worked for him that he suspected had done this to him. But it's just so silly. You are making millions of dollars every month for not a lot of work. And yet you still want a coin? Why? What? Hey, you don't want to scam anyone with crypto? Don't launch a crypto. You know, it's pretty simple. You could be a hero. If you're an influencer out there, in fact, if you're like, I want to be the hero of crypto, hey, don't launch a coin. You're a you're an influencer and all, you go, I want to be the hero. Don't, ever think of that? Like when you think of doing it, don't. So anyway, that's the story of Steve will do it. He now insists that he's been scammed and insists that he has no need for money, although he's got to pay off that jet, got to pay off that nice new jet he's got. So whether you want to believe he's never going to sell like he insists, or you believe money over legacy was a bit of a Freudian slip, I don't know. That's up to you. But I just wanted to share this this story of Steve. I think it's a cautionary tale of what happens when you get addicted to gambling. Clearly, the guy is like, I don't know what to say. I think he's the case study of what happens when you get too much money too fast and you let it go to your head. But yeah, that's basically it. And I guess we'll check back in with him in a few more years, see what he's doing.